Hi, my name is Nicolai Lehnert, and I'm a faculty member in the Department of Chemistry. So welcome to my lightning talk. And first of all, I would like to thank the awards committee for considering me for the 2021 Carol Hollenshead Inspire Award. It's a real honor for me to be a recipient of this award. And welcome again to my lightning talk. I will talk about my program DRISE, encouraging and growing STEM participation. So first of all, the motivation for DRISE came when I started to teach upper level undergrad courses in the chemistry department, and I noticed that there was really a lack of diversity in the student population. And I thought about how can we encourage underrepresented minority students to go into STEM areas? How can we improve access to college education for underrepresented students? And I thought one way to do this is to really show them how cool science is, and then maybe we can also recruit them into the STEM areas. So when you talk to the students, you realize pretty quickly that they don't really know what scientists do. They know what doctors do, they know what engineers do, and so if they're interested in science, they talk about becoming doctors or engineers. Right? And so one thing we can do, first of all, is actually talk about what scientists do and show them that there are tremendous job opportunities if you get a degree, for example, in chemistry. And of course, fighting the stereotype, right? The scientist is not the crazy guy sitting in the basement and mixing liquids and things are blowing up and all of this stuff. And of course, what we do has nothing to do with this at all. And some people maybe got a little bit of an idea about this when they saw how the COVID-19 vaccines were made and kind of seeing how science actually works, right? And the best way to show people how science works is to actually expose them to science and the scientific progress and process. And this is how I really started with this. So then the question is, what can we do, right? If you look at existing outreach programs, many of them focus on large groups of students. So bring in a large number of students to campus, and then, you know, there are presentations about science, informal sessions. There could be pre-designed experiments that the students do in kind of a teaching laboratory style and all this kind of stuff. But that's not really doing science, right? Science is being in a laboratory and doing research. And so I wanted to do something different. I wanted to actually provide the students with a real research experience. And there's a couple of challenges with this. First of all, we need a one-on-one mentoring, right? We need to pair the high school students with a graduate student or postdoc, and then they can work in the lab essentially like an undergraduate student. So there has to be individual mentoring. There has to be an individualized experience where every student works on a different project and does something completely different. And of course, science takes time. So it would be desirable for the students to work 40 hours per week, kind of full time, and then several weeks in order to actually be able to get something done. And all of these challenges have to be addressed. And besides the time factor, the other factor, of course, is the cost of the program. So what we decided to do at the end is to do a 7 weeks program where students are on campus for 7 weeks total. And since they're local, you know, usually from the Detroit area, they can be here on campus from Monday to Friday. They're housed in the dorms, and then they can go home for the weekend and come back the next week to keep working on their projects. And we're going to target rising seniors who are also starting to think about college, right? And we can kind of show them what the possibilities are in STEM. So that costs a lot of money. We have to pay about $5,500 per students right now, which comes from the cost of housing them in the dorms on campus, providing a meal plan. We also pay them a stipend so that is not a limiting factor for students to be able to participate in the program. And the other significant factor here is, of course, that the high school students are minors, right? And so when they are staying in the dorms, they need a chaperone. So we also need to hire a chaperone then who stays with the students in the dorms and stays with them after hours when they're not in the lab doing work. So when we started the program, I partnered up with Castech in Detroit, which is a magnet school located in Midtown Detroit. And if you look at the demographics here, 90% of the students come from underrepresented groups in the sciences, so it is easy to find the target students. And Castech also has really helped us getting this program started by providing 40% of the program funding, which is really great. More recently, we've also partnered with Wolverine Pathways in order to kind of cast the net a little broader and also reach other students from other areas in Detroit and the surrounding areas, and open the program up for these students. And of course, Wolverine Pathways has also helped us financially, and I'm really thankful for that as well. And so after the students then work for 7 weeks in the lab, they actually get a lot of results, and each one of them is able to make a research poster. You can see this here. And then we have the students present at a conference, for example, here, this Graduate Student Research Symposium that we run each summer in the beginning of August in the chemistry department. Another possibility is to send them to an undergrad research conference that is regionally, so in the area, for example, at Notre Dame. But it's very important that the students also not only do the work, but then also get to present and really get that part of, the scientific process as well, and also kind of feeling the pride of here. These are my accomplishments. I have done all that with my own hands. And then after hours, when the lab work is done, of course, as I said, they stay in town from Monday to Friday, and the chaperone then organizes interesting activities with them, fun stuff to do, getting ice cream or going kayaking and other things. So in summary, DRISE provides an authentic hands-on scientific experience that is customized, where every student does something different. Every student works in a different lab with a different mentor. But because this program is very intense and it's very expensive, we're limited to about 5 to 6 students every summer. Students are also helped in the college application process, and they get exposed to various aspects of collegiate life when they're here on campus. Most important, I think, is that they also start to network. They get to know professors, they get to know undergrads, graduate students who are there. And I think that this part, the networking part really becomes important when it comes to recruiting, right? The students feel that Michigan is a place. They can see themselves here. They've been here. They know people here. And they feel like this is a place for them where they can be successful, where they can thrive. I also tell the students always to join Europe, right? And so they go straight back to the lab. And some of the students have actually come back to my lab, which is really nice. And it also helps them to get started here on campus when they show up. They actually have a little small community of people that they can talk to, and it kind of provides a small home in this rather large place that Michigan is. So I think that the networking aspect of this, I think, is very important for recruiting. DRISE certainly has been quite successful in this regard. With all the DRISE participants, I think between 60 and 70% actually ended up coming to Michigan. Okay, so in order to wrap this up, I just want to quickly thank some of the staff members here in chemistry. Angie Cox and Heather Hanosh really helped me with all of the logistics of the program. Here's just a list of our hosts here, mentors. In 2019, we could not run the program after this because of COVID. And I also want to especially thank my contacts at Castech. And thank you all for your attention. Thank you for listening to my lightning talk.